Hey guys, I have a slightly different type of video today for you guys. It's not related to the Instant Pot, unless you grew those in the Instant Pot, I guess, but it has to do with strawberry runners. So I got these plants that are not supposed to make many runners, which I was sad about, but turns out they make a bunch. So they're the alpines. So of course there's the obvious way where you hang an actual container and then you pin down the strawberry runner, and then this one has two runners. Not everybody has the setup where they can hang a bunch of these, and some strawberry plants, such as like the wild ones and a lot of the June bearing ones, produce a ton of runners like this here. So it's kind of hard to put a bunch of little pots to hang and containers hanging everywhere. It gets really heavy. So I made up a different way, and of course you can also have them on the ground and just pin them in the same bowl, no problem. But I'm talking about people who have like hanging baskets. A bunch of people these days have it, especially after the pandemic, new gardeners. So I have a bunch of runners. These are not necessarily ready to be pinned down, like they can last quite a while before. But for example, this one, it needs to be something super light. It needs to be keep moisture, and it needs to hang on. So I'm just going to show you guys how to make this, and you can hang quite a few. It's very light, and you obviously use very light potting soil. This is not in the sun, but I just put that on, so I'm gonna probably put it here. But if it were anywhere else that it needs to hang, it could easily hang down, like no problem. So I'm just going to show you guys how to make this. Okay, so I just want to show you guys my setup. I have here a very light, not nuts, but potting soil. So it's the HP Pro Mix. That's what I use for my seed starts instead of a seed starter, because I do the Instant Pot seed starts. So my seeds are already germinated once I pot them up, which means that I can use potting soil. Nonetheless, this would be good for seed start because it is so light. This isn't necessary, but you need potting soil. You won't be able to do this with some really heavy, well, probably not, with some really heavy soil. So you need, well, with COVID, they asked us to empty our entire workspace. So I have a lot of work stuff, like some staples and paper clips. So a lot of stuff came from the office. This is the end product. I'm sure you can buy something like that. I've seen some people actually buy these like fabric pots for their seed starts this year, but I couldn't find any that were tiny, like this small, and that were not super expensive to ship over because, well, I don't want 400, and I need them to be as small as possible. So the way you make this is with this fabric, which is generally for kids to play with. This one is a bit it's a bit thinner than normal and also holds better, but it would work with normal, I think it's called felt paper. If that's not the name, I'm just gonna post it right here. But yeah, so this one is a bit harder and thinner, and so it has a strong weave. I have the other type, and I could try it as well. This one is not the best in my opinion, except that it holds really well, because I won't be able to pierce this easily with paper clips. But I have another way to do it, but you guys could also use the normal felt. So this one is from Amazon. It came in squares like this, all sorts of colors, which is why it's so fun. But yeah, anyway, so this is what I'm going to use. You don't have to use that. You can use a normal one, and it might actually make your job much easier. So you fold them in half, and then I cut it in half. Obviously, if you have a huge, like 8x10, then you make mini with them, not just two. I make two. And then once it's folded in half, you can just staple the sides, like so. Four times. You could probably do 3, but I like 4. And this is what you end up with. So you have this opening, and it's a little pocket. Okay. So you take your little bag, I guess it's a bag now, and then you put some wet potting soil. It needs to be wet so that the strawberry roots. And so you just fill it up with a maybe smaller spoon than that. This was very hard with a tablespoon or a soup spoon, whatever. Maybe take a teaspoon. That would be so much easier. And you stuff it in. And you stuff it in some more. And now you're gonna put it right here. Take a paper clip. Whoops. Now these paper clips, you can also be used simply just to, if you have containers, just to pin down your strawberry runners in a normal container on the ground. You just open it up. They're basically the same idea as this, which is gardening pins, which is what I use, but they're smaller. And if you have small runners, no problem. Sorry about the dog that keeps barking. So here it is. So you just open it up like this, and then you take your strawberry runner. For example, if my strawberry runner was this screw, just put it here. And then I personally would love to just stuck it in and then have one of the clips come out, but this paper is very tough compared to normal papers. So I'm just gonna pin down and then have this hang out, the longer part hang out. So there's gonna be a longer one hang out, and then come into one of the staples and then fold it. Just gonna put it in this staple here, fold it up, and it kind of hangs there. So best case scenario, instead you would put it through both sides through the paper and then fold them up. I might actually go and make one out of the normal felt, so that to show you what the real end would be, end material. So I just got some normal felt that you get at any store. So any craft store would normally sell this type of felt paper. It's a lot less tight weaved, as you can see through, a lot better. Okay, and so this might be easier. So because it's much larger, I'm just gonna fold it in 4, and then I'm gonna cut it up this way, because this is probably what you guys are going to end up using, unless you go on Amazon and get the little squares that I have. Okay, so now I have 4 squares, but because this is large, I'm going to cut them again. And out of 1 felt paper, I get 8 pockets, which these will end up slightly smaller, which is not a problem given that strawberry runners are tiny. So now I just fold it in half again and just staple it. It's a bit more floppy than my hard felt, but if it means that I can actually pierce it better, then it's gonna be better. And it's gonna be harder to felt too, given that it's so floppy. Okay, so now I have my little pocket. Okay. You open it up, fill it up. It doesn't take much soil. Okay. So I'm using a tablespoon. It's like a soup spoon. Not the best, okay, guys? Try to use a teaspoon for this. This is tiny, so probably takes a tablespoon of soil altogether. Okay. So why this is better than this is not because of the look. Definitely not. It's because when I want to pin down a paper clip, it's going to be so much easier to pin it down in a way that I can, it's going to be more secure. Okay, I'm going to show you why. So open it up completely and then fold it exactly halfway through. Oops, that's not halfway through. Let me see, what is half? Here. Yeah, fold it exactly halfway through. And once you have your strawberry runner, you put it here inside, and then you want to fold each side. You pull it through right here, as you can see, and then fold it up. Again, the other side, punch it through, and fold it up. This is what I can't do with my harder felt, because it doesn't punch through. So I need I need to use a smaller, a thinner felt, like the normal felt. And so I'm just going to show you how to put the strawberry runner in. Okay, so I brought my strawberry pot with me, which has a runner. This one I'm not actually hanging, although it is a hanging basket, as you can see here, has the little grooves. But I am putting it on top of my tower. These look amazing. On top of my tower. I wasn't home today, so I did not notice it got so red. But yeah, I'm not hanging it necessarily. I have only one hanger in my backyard, but I am putting it on top of my tower, so the runner is coming down. And then also on my tower, I have strawberries with runners coming down. So just gonna show you how to do this. This is the part where that's gonna produce some roots, okay? So this is the little crown starting to form on the baby, and the roots are gonna come out of here. So you wanna have this in the soil to pin it down. So I'm just putting it inside. I'm probably gonna add a bit more soil to this. Because it did compact in the entire time that I was trying to get the hanger. There you go. That's a little bit more full. Okay. So I'm just putting the little strawberry end, so the end of the crown on top of the soil. And then I'm going to put in my paper clip. I would put it in straight inside. And then I'm going to try to pierce the paper a bit further down. I'm going to pierce the paper right here. Okay, can you see it go in? I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to pierce the paper on the other side. And these strawberry runners are easily, like, you can twist them around, turn them around, that's not a problem. There you go, piercing it again. And then folding it up. You can do this with your hands, but you could also use a plier. And here you go. You have a little strawberry runner with its own little pot. Obviously, you can use probably little bags and stuff like that. Ziplocs, tiny Ziplocs, if you have boxes of tiny Ziplocs. But this is breathable, so it's going to lose the water. You don't need to pierce any holes in them. You just have to make sure that the soil does touch the strawberry runner. And so, for example, I would hang this, and this would hang from the little container. And then you'd have as many as you have of runners, or you can do it one at a time. So this runner is big compared to other runners. I don't have another one on this one, but I have other runners that are tiny that are not ready. So once you form roots to a runner, you cut this. It's almost like the same concept as a baby with the umbilical cord. The moment it has roots is the same idea as the moment that a human baby would come to life into the air, and you would cut the umbilical cord because it can basically breathe on its own, and so the roots would let it breathe on its own. So you cut it up the moment it has roots, and then it's another plant. You can plant it anywhere you want. So here it is. Here's the little hack of the day for people who have strawberry baskets, and these can be found in all sorts of color, so it's not necessarily ugly. It's kind of cute, and you can also make them all black if you want to make it not silly looking. I just wanted to show you the end product. So for example, this runner, I think you could start putting roots on this runner, but it's not necessary right now. It can, this one too, it can live like that for a while. And then in about a week, it'll develop large enough leaves that you want to add something under, or basically at the end, it would just, your plant would have a bunch of runners and you'd never have another plant out of it, which I think is a waste. You might as well use the runners if you like having strawberries in your plants, and this is my kids' for sure favorite. So and when they come out in the garden, they just look for strawberries. So as you can see, they obviously did not come through the garden today. So to end the video, I just want to show you guys through my garden. So I'm just going to show you most of my strawberries, but basically anything that's producing. So that's my watermelons. There's two in here that are getting pretty big. I mean, this is getting heavy, so I'm hoping that my sock is actually going to work, but I might rework it. I might have to like cut it up a bit further down. And this is just for it not to fall off because, well, watermelons have a small stems compared to the fruit size. So it's important that they're hung properly and stabilized. It's not like for example, a spaghetti squash has a huge stem like this. So last year I grew them up, no problem. You don't have to put anything on it for it to hold. It will hold until you cut it up. This can easily fall. This stem is so tiny. Okay. And so these are my hot peppers that are starting to flower. And this is an overly big, this has fallen because of yesterday's storm. But generally it's more in the back. I've messed up when I started my indeterminate tomatoes outside and it forked. Never cut it, and now I'm afraid to just, you can cut it at this point, but I'm afraid that it will just go into dormancy for a bit. And I don't want to because I'm getting a bunch of tomatoes on this one. I don't want to cut it off. So there you go. Anyway, so these are my strawberries. This is a cucumber in a much too small pot. And because I'm running out of space. Another strawberry tower. These are very ready. Tomorrow morning, I think this is a weird one. It didn't pollinate properly. The flower looks so weird, and now the strawberry looks hilarious. I can't wait to see what it is once it's fully ripe, but it's pretty funny. It looks like a strawberry with a beard. And so I have a lot of strawberries, as you can see. And this is under here is my kale, but I just overplant all the time. And I never have real problems with it, to be honest. I put a lot of fertilizer and stuff, a lot of compost, just good stuff. And here are honeydews that are starting to flower and going up this stick. This is my yellow squash that is starting to form. This one stopped growing, so I'm going to take it off because it was growing another one at the same time. And when a plant is tiny, which this looks big, but when it comes to a squash plant, this is small. So, and it's just starting. So it can only focus on one at a time. So I'm going to pollinate this one with maybe this flower if it opens at the same time. If not, I have another zucchini plant, which, by the way, you can pollinate zucchinis. You can cross-pollinate zucchinis if you don't have a male flower on that actual plant. I can use like a green zucchini flower. So that's gonna happen. I have some tiny baby bell peppers. They're called mini bell peppers. This is the max size it'll grow, and then it'll turn orange or red or yellow. I'm not quite sure yet. It was a mixed pack seed. I have a lot of tomatoes coming in. It was finally starting to get warmer today, so that helps. These ones will get yellow first. And I still have peas coming, and now they're falling towards me instead of the neighbor. That's always good, I guess. As I said, there was a storm, so there's that. And I need to pick them today because I didn't this morning. And there's a bunch everywhere. And I have peas there too. These ones are dying a bit more because they were in the sun for like direct sun during the heat wave. But since I put them in this corner, which is direct but not for long, they're producing again and they're much better. So that's good. Potatoes. This is more lettuce coming. I just replanted because, as you can see, my lettuce, like I do the cut and come back method, and it's getting really tall. It's not bolting because I am eating it, and when you eat the bigger outer leaves, it keeps a lot of stuff from bolting. I also put a chair slanted on top on heat waves, and if you know about Ottawa, we get really hot heat waves. So I already took out a lot of my bigger cucumbers because these plants are tiny and they need to get stronger before forming cucumbers. So I might take these ones out as well so it can grow. I know it's heart-wrenching, but there's a reason behind it. These just won't grow to full size. So these are also sugar babies and bell peppers. This is sweet crimson. It's not going to grow up, but I might just weave it around a few times before I put it on the ground since we don't have much space. This is my another zucchini and Over there is a patty pan. I've had already patty pans. I've eaten some, and then I have another one right here that I pollinated. I can show you guys how to make these as well. It works, it's great, and I love it. It's basically just wetting tool, but it would be best to do it with row covers, true UV resistant row covers that are stronger. This is my cauliflower, which still has yet to form a head. Apparently some people wait until the end of the season for that, so I'll try to be patient. Some more cucumbers, a lot of carrots. I have some eggplants over there. A lot of carrots over there as well. Here I have more cauliflower. I still have my bok choy because I take the outer leaves and put it in only morning sun. Never bolted yet, so it's great. I can have it for like every month. I have a dinner with bok choy. It's great. This is very tiny plants of sweet potato because I started really late. We'll see if they work. My first time. This is new zucchini coming up because you always need to work on that every year. Wow, now the birds are fighting. This is Brussels sprouts. More carrots that are coming up, and they're pretty big. I really like, I need to plant more, but they're like not huge, but pretty big for this time of year. Obviously not the ones I just pulled, but yeah, so for this time of year, it's not too bad. I'm going to plant more seeds in. My son loves carrots from the garden, so just little baby carrots like this. And yeah, that's all. I think that's enough too. I have a bunch of cilantro going to seed, unfortunately, because it's hot, and some dill that's also going to seed. I have amazing, I take a lot from it, so it's starting to look damaged, but it's really because I just cut it up yesterday. This is basil. And so that's pretty much it for my garden. It's a very large garden for such a small space. And in 2 months from now, it's gonna actually look like a jungle. It's gonna go all around the walls. That's why I try to maximize growing what we want, but we want a lot. So anyway, thanks for watching.